You can tea dye your fabrics from a white to a cream by doing this all natural method of steeping black tea, any black tea, in hot water for about 2 minutes. You can make your fabrics darker or lighter depending on how many tea bags you've used. Here I've used 2, and also how long you let them steep. After you have removed the tea bags, make sure to really stir the water so that everything is evenly distributed. I like to rinse and wash my fabrics before I actually do this, and that way the dye takes easier in case there's something I can't see on the fabric. I also like to wet down the fabric before I'm actually placing it in this bowl of tea, and that also helps it to take to the fabric better. It actually would be better if I were using a slightly bigger bowl than the one that you see here. You want your fabric to be able to move around freely in the bowl and to have lots of water moving around. It still works in this smaller bowl, but you have to make sure to be continually stirring so that the tea doesn't clump in any weird places, and just keep continually stirring, stir. I am wanting to turn this white English net fabric into more of an ivory, so I'm wanting a darker color. So the amount of time that you let it steep in the water will affect just how dark the fabric becomes. And because I want this fabric to be darker, I'm actually letting it steep in here as I stir for a bit longer, for about 6 or 7 minutes. You can experiment with what works best for you and your fabric, and you can kind of just eyeball it, but one thing that I would caution you about is that after drying, the fabric typically will look a little bit darker after it's fully dried. Now that the fabric's been in there for about 5 to 6 minutes, I'm taking it out and I'm now going to let it dry. Don't pour out the tea water from the bowl until you're sure that your fabric is dark enough, because you can always go back and re-submerge the fabric in this same water if after drying you realize that it's not dark enough. Hang your fabric out to dry and make sure that the fabric is a single layer, that it's not crumpled in on itself, so that the tea dries evenly. You can see the dramatic difference in these before and after photos. Now I use this more creamy fabric to design a draped wedding cape for the bride, and you can check out more photos of it at the link that I will include in the description.